Mr. Samad, the West seems to be worried about the fate of democracy in Bangladesh. How worried are the Bangladeshis about democracy in Bangladesh?
First of all, there is no democracy in this country since the country was born in 1971. That's very unfortunate, because if you look into all the draconian laws has been gifted to this newborn country since 1972, and the following year, still the recently another draconian law has been passed by the parliament only a month before on the Cyber Security Act, which is in fact a legacy of the previous Digital Security Act, where they can stifle the press, they can definitely punish the delinquent Facebook user. They can, this is a harassment, and this is as I said, this is not a democracy. You cannot have a draconian law to criminalize freedom of speech.
Right, and I'm actually looking at this cover story of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on the cover of Time magazine, where she actually says that a very interesting comment about democracy. She says that democracy has a different definition that varies country to country. So do you agree with that, the fact that she's hinting at a guided democracy needed for stability?
Okay, if she's a political scientist, of course I would agree to her definition of democracy. As far as I know, she's born as a politician, born in a political family, and obviously I will not buy her narrative of the democracy.
Right, and there are growing calls from the US and the West for a caretaker government to oversee elections in Bangladesh. Do you see the Sheikh Hasina government agreeing to this?
I'm not sure whether the West has requested or asked or has proposed for a caretaker government or an interim government. The only thing they have been talking about is a free, fair, and a credible election. That's it. The only, if you talk about caretaker government, that's the opposition's, the rhetorics that have been mentioned about the opposition, especially the Bangladesh Nationalist Party.
Do you believe that there will be free and fair elections when they're held in January next year in Bangladesh?
I would not be pessimist, but there are reasons that the election there would be a lot of drama for announcing the election. The election should have been announced by this time. Usually in the previous election, if you talk about the previous elections with all the elections, the election commission gave 90 days time to the political parties to organize themselves and of course launch their campaign. But this time there is a new interpretation, which is of course has baffled the political scientists, the political observers, even the media. They said it's 45 days. So if it is 45 days, and if you're talking about November, so we don't have 45 days. So actually the election was understood and has been said several times. The election will be on the first week of January, which is of course, it can be any day, the 3, 4 or 5 or 6, first week of January. That was repeated by the election commission themselves. And of course the government has also never denied or has mentioned that there will be no election the first week of January. So, but the election commission is now coming up with a new theory, I would say, a new idea or a new information that the election has to be held by 29th of January.
Right.
And I will not be skeptic, but let's see. Let's wait.
Also, there are wage protests in Bangladesh as we speak. The garment factories are shut, and the garment factories are your export engine, $55 billion worth of exports. Is that sector threatened by these protests? Have they anything to do with the kind of political backdrop that they're happening in?
You're right. There is two issues right now. One is opposition is continuing with their I would use the word called violence, to ensure that the government is not destabilized, but at least making the people uncomfortable, because you cannot take your vehicle, there is no bus. In the daytime, there is no communication. Everything is shut down. So there is a risk of people communicating. So with that, it coincided with the garments workers, because the garments workers were scheduled for, because the wage board commission uh, set up by the government, but of course representative from the garments industry and the workers union. So they were scheduled to be on the strike or on the protest to ensure that they get a reasonable, adequate compensation package, which of course the government has denied, and that is one of the reasons the entire the garments workers are on strike. But according to the Bangladesh Garments Manufacturers Association, they have shut down all the factories. I mean, they have made an announcement. So the factory workers cannot enter. It is very difficult to talk about whether they will get their wages. And according to Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister, she said that they have to go back. So, and if they really want to get the new scale of the wages. So obviously, once you say go back to your factory to work and get the new structure, pay structure, means the roads is closed. So they have shut down the doors for a negotiation. And of course, the protest is continuing. Right. And I believe, that's my opinion, that not only Bangladesh, not only the workers, not only the garments owners, the brand owners, the brand importers, they have a responsibility in ensuring that the workers are appropriately paid.
News 9 Plus. Download now.